Michelle! Oh, Michelle, are you in there? Oh, it's just the past. I thought it was in the present, you know, but it's finally, hey, Michelle, what's up? Oh, what happened to you? You know, I was like, oh, I didn't know any of this. Did you need something, Georges? Oh, come on, don't be like that. Do I have to need something to talk to you? No, but you looked like you were in an unusually good mood, so I thought, well, why would I be? It's a wonderful, gloomy day out. I would understand it was clear out, but can you say it's wonderfully gloomy? Well, you can't be outside for very long when it's not cloudy, so in our case, this is the perfect weather. Huh. What do you say we go for a little stroll while we can? Dee's around today too, so we can see if he's up for it. It'll be like old times. We've been running around like headless chickens lately, so we haven't had much chance of a sibling outing. We'll have Mom make us lunch and... oh, we'll take a couple horses up to a forest's edge. I'm fine with that if you are. You bet your bum I am. I asked after all. Now come on, let's go. I forget how George's sound. I don't know what kind of voice did I give George's? I don't even know. Oh well. An elder, you say? Yep, hop on a couple horses, head for the forest. We haven't done this in a while, so I figured why not? I see. Well, if Michelle is coming, I see no reason to say no. Let's head off right away. Well, slow down here. Are you saying you wouldn't go if it was just me? It's Michelle or nothing. Of course. Why on earth would I want to go horse riding along with you? I would rather drown myself. Legasp! Legasp! Didier, could I perhaps make a small request? Go on, let's hear it. Do you mind if I hold the horse's reins? Oh, that's all? By all means. I'll be there behind you to make sure nothing happens, so have at it. But do be warned, my horse is a bit temperamental. If you're not gentle, he'll start getting moody with you. I doubt there'll be a problem for you though, Michelle. I'll be careful. Hey, wait, slow down, guys. Look at that, Michelle. George is still fumbling around all the way back there. Are we going a bit too fast? No, you're fine. That you're able to get past that so quickly is proof of your talent. Finally caught up. This isn't a race, you know. Why can't we enjoy the scenery and indulge in some nice pathos? A warrior and his horse need not of pathos. Is that right, Michelle? It certainly is, Didier. Aw, come on, you guys, be nice. This is my idea. You've really taken after old D, haven't you, Michelle? I, for one, would rather see you admiring flowers or dancing with butterflies, or gazing out at this beautiful sunset, or enjoying poetry. More pathos, my dear sister, and less barbarism. Longswords, suits of armor, and tales of heroic knights are so much more appealing, though. You've let him get his claws in too deep, Michelle. Oh dear, oh my. I'm gonna have 2 meathead siblings before I know it. What did you just call me? Now, you two. Why don't we stop here for a picnic? Seconded, my stomach's been rumbling up a storm. I took a few bites earlier because I was about to die back there. I hope your horse throws you into a river. Hey, so the other day I brought a cat home. A cat? Yep, speckled from head to tail and ugly as a witch's arse. I was gonna keep it in my room, but Mom flipped when she saw it. Keep that filthy thing out of my house. Wish there was something we could do about how much of a clean freak she is. George, just try not to stress Mother too much. You're unpredictable enough as it is. It would be nice, though, to have a cat, I mean. You think so? Then how about this? We'll keep it in the courtyard. I'll feed it on days when it's clear, and you can do it when it's cloudy, Michelle. I don't know what cats eat, though. I bet you like pastries. Do you want to kill the cursed thing? I cannot approve anyone taking care of an animal who thinks that's a good idea. Sorry. Oh, pull the stick out of your ass. D? Life's all about experimentation. Live and learn. Don't experiment on animals, you know? That's animal cruelty. Well, if you're gonna be like that, how about you help out too? You can keep an eye on us, make sure we don't do anything stupid. Well, now you're trying to drag me into this. Already done, you're in, it's settled. Damn it, Georges. Now we need to come up with a name. Have any ideas, Michelle? You want me to name it? Not very often you get to give another living thing a name. I guess you might have a few more chances down the road. Consider this practice. Something elegant and beautiful, you've got this. Now, Georges, don't put so much pressure on her. You have a point, though, it is a good opportunity. Don't stress too much about it, Michelle. Just do something you like. You said the cat was speckled and ugly. Yep, one look and you'll be laughing so hard you can't breathe. Alright then. Ugly speckles, okay. That's his name? It would seem you do not have the future in the arts, Michelle. But you said it was Ugly Speckle, Georges. I did, yes. You could have tried a little harder than that, though. But you know, why not? Ugly Speckles it is. It's actually kind of charming when you say it out loud. Ugly Speckles. It's not that funny. It's quite something indeed. And the more I think about it, the more I... Not you too, Didier. We should bring the Ugly Speckles to the next outing. Staying together beneath the clouds having lunch. That we should. Or, oh, that's the wrong person, I think? I said the wrong thing. Oh, who said that? Wait, backlog. The power of backlog. It was George who said that. We should bring Ugly Speckles on next outing. Staying together beneath the clouds having lunch. That we should. When Michelle's gotten a little bigger, let's do this again. 3 of us and our ugly speckled cat. You said it. We're all good friends here after all. I've never been your friend, though. God, must you always be such a jerk? Oh, good times. When everyone did not abandon us to this sadistic demon girl. Didier, Georges, was Amy telling the truth? You really think I'm nothing but trouble? Do you think I've lost my mind? That I'm a demon child? Didier, Georges, why do you not open this door for me and let me out? The things I said that day really so heinous. Do you resent me too, like Amy? Didier, Georges, how do you think about me now? Is his body really so unusual? If I hadn't undergone the transformation I did, would things still have been the way they were before? Would we be able to get out of the forest again and make silly, meaningless conversation, everyone laughing like we had then? If this body hadn't changed the way it did, would I not be trapped in this darkness? Even if that were the case, I didn't want to be a girl. If God descended from heaven and offered to change me back, I would have turned him down. Because inside, I wasn't a girl. Ironic, because, you know, obviously, he gets reincarnated as a girl, you know, completely anyway. In the other time eras, I guess. I keep saying time eras, not right, but, you know, the other stories we've seen. Wasn't there, I'm thinking, there was like a part where literally the white-haired girl, you know, or Michelle as the white-haired girl, literally, you know, took off her clothes. And, you know, the beast wasn't, or the Yukimasa in the second story wasn't all that appalled or anything. So, like, I assume, like, ironically, he got the opposite of his wish, I guess, or whatever, you know? But, anyway. My nightmare at Ami's hands didn't end there either. As much as I loathed to admit it, I was terrified of her. Every day I dreaded the sound of the door opening. However, if I were to block the door off with furniture, I would lose my only remaining lifeline. I had no choice in the matter. It's time for supper, Michelle. I brought your favorite, parsnips. Oh yeah, no, that's why he hates parsnips. And thus we've solved the biggest mystery of this game, the reason why he's a picky eater. Well, what the dogs didn't eat of them anyway. But you don't mind, do you? I'm gonna cut your nails today, Michelle. I need you to stay very still. You wouldn't want my hands to slip. So to make sure you do, I'm tying you up. This way you can't accidentally move. Here's your water, Michelle. It's murky. Oh, heavens me. I must have flushed it from the water basin by mistake. Oh, that's not poop water again. Every time, poop water. It's supper time, Michelle. I brought you parsnips again. Don't worry, the dogs didn't have any of these. They didn't seem to be interested in eating them raw. What, you don't want any? Then what am I going to do with these? You know, Michelle, you're such a disgrace. Cry for me, won't you? Beg for mercy? Look at you, all that pride. Gone out the window. It's hilarious, I tell you. She did everything imaginable to torture me, both physically and emotionally. To be honest, it was rather impressive in a sick way, how she was able to come up with so many different ways to torment me. And she knew precisely what caused me the most pain, my body, and the discrepancy between what I was and what I felt I was. She delighted in telling me I wasn't male, and sometimes in showing me. But I don't think I need to describe the things she did to me in any more detail. I can think of only one way to keep myself from breaking down. I completely stopped talking, stopped struggling. Then one day after about 6 months or so, she said with a disinterested sigh, I'm done. And that was the last of it. By swallowing my pride and not resisting, I was able to escape from her grip. Once she was gone, the servants took over attending to me again. I was still in prison, but there was now serenity in my solitude. I didn't speak with anyone, I didn't make eye contact, I didn't do anything. I just lived. And even though I had peace, I still feared Amy having a change of heart. I trembled at the possibility that one day it might be her that opened the door. But above all, I hated, despised the fact that I lived in such a fear of a girl. An overwhelming self-loathing threatened to crush me. I had reoccurring nightmares about the things Amy had done to me. The wounds she gave me did not heal, they only grew worse, eating away at me day after day. I was beginning to lose confidence in my own sanity in the silent darkness, where there's no sense of time. The line between dream and reality blurred. I often found myself screaming, crying into the empty air. I clawed at my skin, pulled out my hair, paced back and forth across the room, pounded at the door yelling for help, screamed some more. It was the very image of pitiful, absolute wretchedness. Every time I did, I'm sure there was someone on the other side of that door, whispering about how poor Michelle had lost her mind. Eventually, I gave up entirely. A lot of stories about people being locked up in places, I feel like. I mean, for what, Morgana was locked up in the tower. The white-haired girl was locked up in, well, I guess Michelle, right? In different incarnations, also got locked up again in a shed in the courtyard or in the garden or whatever. Giselle, was she locked up once? I can't remember if she was locked up. I don't think she was locked up technically. She was definitely like back in the village, she was interrogated at that one point, but it wasn't like a long-term, prison or anything, as far as I know. I'm trying to think. But yeah, but that seems to be a theme in this game, locking people up. Anyway, it's a stormy night of my 16th year. I've been confined for more than 2 years at that point. Heavy rain pounded against the windows like 1,000 little spears. I was sitting quietly in my bed, unable to fall asleep. But suddenly, there was a loud banging on the door. Michelle, are you awake? If you are, then hurry up and get awake. I've got big trouble. Lower your damn voice. What? When I first heard my brother's voices after so long, I thought it was hallucinating. In 2 years, it had never once come from me, no matter how hard I pounded on the door, no matter how many times I called for them. And after all that time, I didn't expect that to ever change. I'd given up, assumed they had long since cast me aside. Unable to bring myself to say anything, I simply stared at the door, and there was another bam bam. The sound was half consumed by a crack of thunder, giving it an indescribably eerie quality. Please, say something, Michelle. Seriously, there's no time. You can hear us in there, can't you? You're there behind the door, aren't you? Come on, just one word, Michelle. Is it really you, Didier and Georges? For a moment they seemed at a loss for words, probably because they almost didn't recognize my voice. It was only a heartbeat, and then Didier spoke. There's a carriage waiting outside. I'm going to unlock the door so you can leave in it. Why? Because Dad's talking crazy. He's saying the Millennium family has no need for a demon child or your mark of shame in our name, so he's gonna have you executed. Georges. Father. Wants me dead? It felt like the floor had fallen out from under me. Executed. Demon of child? Mark of shame. So he was saying I didn't even deserve to live anymore. It's planned for tomorrow morning. We've only just found ourselves, which is why... You prepared a way for me to escape. But why? Why? Why do you even need to ask? Because we're family. Something terrible has gotten to Father. I clenched my teeth, fighting back a bitter, angry sigh. But I couldn't keep all those emotions bottled up for long. A maelstrom of feelings I thought I had lost in my 2 years in imprisonment swelled up inside me, spilling from my lips. Why? Why are you doing this now? If you really felt that way, then why did you come sooner? 2 years I spent locked up in this room. You have any idea how I felt in that time? Any idea how hard I fight to endure? How many times I cried for your help? How hard I pounded on the door begging to be set free? But never once did you come. Not even once. Michelle. I scare you, don't I? You think I've gone insane, that I've lost my mind, that I sold my soul to the devil, don't you? No, Michelle, we don't. Then why? Why did you come and set me free? Michelle, No. We don't think you've lost your mind at all. So you didn't want to see me then? You didn't want to face what I've become? Tell me I'm wrong, did you? Georges, you left me here, abandoned me for 2 whole years, locked me away so you didn't have to see me. I'm sorry. I'm just, really busy with my art. I'm just really busy. I'm sorry I ghosted you, but I was just busy with my art, I've been getting a ton of commissions down at the court, and Didier's a knight now, so he's up to his neck in expeditions. I'm really sorry. As am I. I cannot say that you're wrong. After what happened, I wasn't sure how I was supposed to act around you. I'm still not sure even now. I knew I had to find the time to collect myself, but I kept putting it off. Just procrastinating, I guess, vaguely hoping that time would take care of it all. And for that I owe you an apology. But you need to understand, I do not agree with Father's decision. I do not want to lose you. I don't think you're a demon child. And Georges feels the same way. Neither of us wants to see you dead. What he said, Michelle. There's not much time. We need to get you out of here. I bit down hard my lower lip, hard enough to draw blood. Was that, or start sobbing? It's a little late for that. Michelle. If you don't get out here, you're gonna be killed. If I'm not an angel sent from heaven, or a demon child, then what am I? What on earth am I? What are you, You're a Belinger. You're a family. And that's all there is to it. I pray you can forgive me for averting my eyes for so long. Can I trust you? Can I trust that even though if the whole world says I'm cursed, that you'll always be at my side? That you'll always be my brothers? Can I put my trust in you once more? Didier, Georges. You absolutely can, Michelle. I swear to God on high. And I swear to God of art. God of art. Michelle. I have no other choice, do I? I couldn't talk Father out of it. Could I? I couldn't, yeah. I would rather you didn't try. He's not a man to change his mind. If you were to show up before him, he would likely draw his sword on you himself. It would destroy Mother. I'm sorry. We're not doing this only for you. Okay, I'll go. Oh, thank goodness. The carriage will take you to a mansion, Michelle. It's property Father purchased some time ago, but due to rumors about the house, it's demanded. No one wants to buy from him either, and that's unlikely to change. It's an ideal place to keep you out of sight. What kinds of rumors? Well, no point in keeping it a secret. He has the right to know. They say a witch lives there. A witch? I think it's all just made up, personally. I went to check the place out and there was no one there. It was a little dreary, to be sure. I had hoped to have a better place arranged for you, but there wasn't enough time. This is only temporary, Michelle. I cannot say how long it will be. It's gonna be 10 years, but Father will pass away eventually. When he does, Georges will inherit the estate, and that will mean you can return. So I ask that you hold out until that time. If I don't leave, I'm going to be executed. So send me anywhere, I won't complain. I'm glad to hear you say that. I will talk to Father, and ensure he does not suspect anything. We'll make this work, don't you worry. The long and short of it is, Dad simply wants you erased from the family. Georges. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be mean. But anywho, once I take over, we're in the clear. You'll be acknowledged as a Belinger. I see. Okay then. Can I open the door now? Just a minute. Oh, you're still not ready? I don't have any clothing. Ah, right. You wouldn't, huh? How tall are you, Michelle? Around the same height as you, I think. You're taller than me. Damn. Alright, I'll bring you some of my clothes. Thank you. Wow, I don't think I've ever... Excuse. My throat's a little dry. Excuse me. Let's see. Wow, I don't think I've ever heard you say thank you without putting up a fight, Michelle. That's not true, I don't think. I'll be back soon. Get what you need together. Alright. Sitting in the carriage waiting outside, listening to the pitter-patter of the rain, I gaze out at my two brothers. I hadn't seen them in 2 years, but they hardly look any different than how I remember them. I was the only one who had changed, and dramatically at that. Looking at them, I couldn't help but remember the old days, playing chess with Didier, learning to draw from George's, our sibling outings. However, the ominous sound of thunder crashing in the distance drowned out those memories. The mansion is several days' travel from here. Hopefully the carriage isn't too uncomfortable. I will send a package of any supplies you need once a month. Food, clothing, and something to pass the time. I wonder what happened with Amy though. You know, Didier and Georges seems to be getting along right now, but didn't they have an affair and everything? I don't know if they obviously didn't believe Michelle, but I don't know. You would think that would break apart the brothers, however, because of, you know, Amy's two-timing, but if there's anything you want, Michelle, just tell me. Now, or you can have a servant pass a message on to me. I can't think of... Actually, wait, I can think of one thing. I would like a chess set. Alright, so I'll have one made. I'd rather have yours, Didier. Would that be possible? Are you sure you want that Beano thing? Yes, I want that one. Alright then. I'll include it in the first delivery. I'll send you something too, Michelle. Anything you want, just tell me. In that case, I would like some art tools. I'm nowhere near as much of an artist as you, Georges, so they don't have to be anything special. Gotcha, so some canvas and how about some charcoal? And when you're back, I will see what you made with it, okay? Okay. I know this is already hard enough on you, Michelle, but I need to ask you to do something for me. Avoid making contact with anyone who doesn't already know about you. So, I can't talk to anybody but the servants. Put simply, yes. Tomorrow the world will consider you dead, so we cannot have people finding out you are actually alive. Especially, Father. Please, do this for me. I've been doing that for 2 years already. I've long since lost interest in interacting with anybody, so you don't need to ask me to keep to myself. Alright. Does anyone else know I'm alive? Yes, Mother knows. In fact, this is her idea. It was? She loves you, Michelle. She really does. Mom just, you know, is having a little trouble facing the truth. So even though she's not here to see you off, I guarantee you she doesn't want to see you dead. She wants you to have you in her life again. I expect Mother will be writing to you. So please, take the time to write her back. She's a troubled woman, but her love for you is true and unwavering. Will you do that? Just a quick little, hey, I got your letter, doing great, suffice? Alright. Just so you know, it kills me indeed that we can't stand up to Dad. But as long as he lives, his word is God in his house. I understand that, yes. Well, you never know. He could be gone quicker than you expect. A week from now and bam, he's dead as the social life. But no, it'll take 10 years. Is there not an ounce of respect in your body? Oh, give me a break. I'm upset. It's gone way too far. And once he's dragged his arse off to the great beyond, anything goes. Surprise, Michelle was alive. Yeah, I suppose. Until then, we'll take care of things from here. Tomorrow's gonna be a performance of our lives, crying like a couple of big babies and laughing our tails off inside. You'll forgive me if I have trouble trusting that loose tongue of yours. Shh, I'm not stupid. I know this is important. Not even Amy suspect a thing. Amy. Yeah, not even she can know. It's gonna crush her, I'm sure, but the less people who know, the better. When Georgia said her name, my whole body went shamefully cold. It's been a year and a half since the hell she put me through, but every last detail of it remained carved into my mind and body. There's no way she'll be even slightly sad about my death. She might act it, but she would almost certainly be elated by the news. It would seem George has yet to see what lay beneath that woman's mask. I know you two are close. Huh? Are you worried about how this might affect her? What? She cared for you about 6 months, didn't she? When you wouldn't let the servants in. What? From what I've heard, you got real close to dying there. You wouldn't even eat unless she was there. Who the hell told you that? What? Is that not what happened? Did something happen between you two, Michelle? Ami didn't do a damn... Never mind. I can't tell them. I can't put what I went through into words. It only worsened my shame. Especially not in front of my brothers. Georges, how are things between you and Ami? You still letting what happened 2 years get to you? Well, I mean, that time, things were a total disaster. I'm all excited about getting myself a pretty little wife, only to find she's rocking the boat with someone else. I cried for weeks. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so deep down though, she isn't actually a bad girl. She's young and kids make mistakes. After it all came out, she turned over a new leaf. She started dotting on me something serious, and well, it's hard not to let one little mistake like that let go when she's trying so hard to make it up with me. The age excuse doesn't work for D, though. For about a year, things were really rough between us. I didn't want to look at him. But at the end of the day, we're family. We can get past anything. Okay, so they, and there's at least one thing that happened, is that they actually reconciled, I guess, between the brothers. So that's why they don't hate each other, at least that's what it seems anyway. I don't know, I don't know if she's still two-timing, Sighs, because you let the cat out of the bag, that gave me something to hold over D. All things considered, I'm not complaining. So, you would say you're happy then, Georges? Sure would, yep. Believe it or not, I'm kinda head over heels for her. Hard not to like a girl like Ami. Oh, I see. You really feel that bad about 2 years ago? So she's still keeping up the good girl facade around Georges and Didier. No one else knows. She's actually a sadistic, cackling demon. There's nothing less trustworthy in the world than a woman who's always smiling. But if Georges thinks he's happy, I can't take that away from him. But then it's gonna... In the short term, yes. But in the long term, I don't know if it's a good idea. Because eventually, bad things are gonna happen if you let him stay for her. But oh well. Oh well. Michelle? Oh, right, yes. I do feel guilty about the way I lost control of my emotions and took it out on you guys. It happens to everyone. In fact, you could stand to do a little bit more shouting and fussing. But that's what Michelle's been doing for 2 years anyway. Then you could... Because I have undeveloped social skills. You heard that? You've got one hell of a nasty streak, huh, D? I'm glad to hear you're still on good terms. It wasn't my intention to pit the two of you against each other. We know. The blame falls on my shoulders. I want you to know something, Michelle. Though your transformation was too much for mother and father to accept, with enough time, everything will go back to the way it was before, just like it did for myself and Georges. None of this is your fault. It was all an unfortunate timing. God's a little bit of a jerk, too. Try not to forget I am a knight, Georges. In time. In time. Speaking of which, we don't have much left. I'm going to tell the coachman to set off, okay? Didier. Yes? Tell me the truth. Will the three of us ever meet again? Why would you ever ask that? Of course we will. Not a chance I'm letting this be our last family get-together. One last question then. Yes? Am I your brother? Well, I mean, look at ya. Don't look like much of a sister to me. So yeah, I'd say you are. I see. So long then. Farewell. And may good health bless you until we meet again. Until then, Michelle. Farewell. Before seeing me off for good, they both gave me a strong, firm hugs. Didier first, then Georges. The warmth I found in their arms, in my family's arms, slowly spread through my chilled body, which made it that much difficult to part ways. The wheels of the carriage rattled against the wet, stone-paved road. I stuck my head out of the window, watching as they shrunk into the distance. Standing there in the rain until they were completely out of view. A tightness filled my breast. Every glimmer of hope I had for my new life was matched by an equal degree of darkness and uncertainty. Would I ever make it back home? And if I did, would people still call me a demon child? Having to write mother was another uncomfortable weight in my soul. The thought of having to play a girl for her made me sick. Georges had acted like it would be nothing, but it wasn't that easy. It was more than mere pretend. Didier has said with time things would change, but how could he be certain that those changes would be for the better? The wooden wheels turned, carrying me away to that cursed mansion. Alright, so, that's basically what happened, his whole story and everything. And I guess, what we know from before, like when he died, he sent one final letter to his mother, but then, marked it as a guy, so obviously that probably sent mother over the edge, because, she thought Michelle was recovering and becoming a girl again, but obviously that wasn't the case. And now I'm thinking, like, but then what happened, I still don't really understand exactly what happened. Why he like, a bunch of soldiers went to his house. Only the Belingers would have known, I imagine, unless the villagers told somehow, like another noble, for some reason, to go attack the house. I mean, his father died at that point, so he wasn't like looking for for his son or anything, unless somehow the truth came out. I don't know, but by that point, he was already dead by that point, so I don't know. Unless there's some kind of lies going on, some kind of deception going on. Otherwise, I would imagine it was Didier, the knight that slew him at the top of the observation tower. Didier did say he was becoming a knight for like the church and everything, and a knight from the church, saying a bunch of like holy stuff, was definitely there to slay Michelle. And Michelle's different. Before he died, he said like, he's like, he recognized who that was, and then he died. It was like, was that really all also just like all of that like very heartwarming scene with his brothers at the end there before they left? Was it all just also a lie for some reason? Like what happened? I don't know. 10 years is a long time. Maybe Didier just doesn't care anymore. I don't know. Anyway, the next thing I know, I'm sinking into a vast void. Darkness cuffs my hands and legs, restricting my movement. Images of the past I kept buried away for so long stream past me. This isn't how I wanted it to happen. Not coming from my own mouth, but being laid bare for all to see without my consent. That wasn't how I wanted her to find out about my secret, about my shameful history. I warned you, my dear. I told you didn't want to reclaim your old self. If you had simply let it be, you wouldn't be here now, forced to relive it all. Now do you understand? The tale I spun behind the fourth door was as much for you as it was for her. There, you were a young man with a sad fate, but you met a wonderful woman, fell in love with her, then died in the arms of tragedy. Which is funny though, because the fake version of the fourth story, I guess, it was a white-haired girl, so it's like yourself, That's technically that's self-cess. Because like it's Michelle, but also another Michelle. Anyway. The sequence of events is not far from the truth, but I was able to turn it into something enchanting and beautiful. I got rid of all the nasty little details, your ugliness, your body troubles, and all of that. Doesn't that seem a bit unfair, Michelle? You tore down the walls around Giselle's heart, around her past, but you wanted to keep your own nice and safe and hidden away. She had every right to be upset. You were afraid she would accept you, were you not? That's precisely what happened. But can you honestly blame her? The truth you've kept hidden away is not something most will be able to accept. The prince who came riding in to save her, silence, wasn't actually a man. Please, enough. I've seen enough. Let us stay buried, please. Just stop this. I don't want to see it. I don't want anything to do with it. What a sad little creature you are, my dear. Not a woman in the world would have any interest in you now. I mean, that's not true. I feel like I mean that's not true. I would say it's funny. I said before, but like, wasn't the maid like? I remember when Giselle became the maid. She was waiting for so. You would think after 1,000 years, you wouldn't care what form your lover would be in. It's like it's been 1,000 years, so She even like she was all totally okay with totally flirting, not really flirting, but was totally okay with Michelle being a girl, like initially anyway, as the white haired girl. She was totally up for it, at that time. So I don't know why it matters now, I feel like anyway. You surround yourself with a layer upon layer of walls, cover yourself with this patchwork barely held together quilt of masks, and it's the only thing keeping you together. You're the frailest one of all, the weakest. It's about time you accepted that and stop trying to fight it. I am not weak. Oh, is that so? Let's perceive the tale then, shall we? Face the one you hate most in the world, yourself. Your weakness, your ugliness. Face it in despair. Don't. Again. Once again, my own desires, my own wishes are completely irrelevant. The past sprawls out before me once more. And the witch is exactly right. I despise the man I was then, teeming with vain hope and foolish dreams. I'd rather pretend that part of me never existed, but I have no choice. I'm dragged back into the life I once lived, my pleas for mercy, fading into dark nothingness. I can't remember how long it's been since Capita disappeared into the distance, but I've been on the road for some time now. Okay, well, so it's continuing actually. There's more. That's not the end. There's more to this story. We long since left paved roads behind. The carriage rocked back and forth as it proceeded down the rough dirt path. For hours I stared through the window as unfamiliar scenery flowed past. Eventually a fog settled over the area, making it difficult to discern night from day. We made our way through the dark, dense woods, and beyond them, like the world fading into the view after a dream, a mansion appeared before us. All the windows were either shuttered or boarded, encasing the house in darkness. In a way, it felt like all I had done was move from one prison to a much larger one. Briefly, I thought they had possibly been sealed to keep anyone from seeing me inside, but my coming here was a very recent development. More likely, then, the house had been in this condition when it was initially purchased. Quite the piece of property my father had found himself in. Or found himself with, rather. I wonder if he had been swindled by his previous owner. It was a gloomy, uninviting place, but it didn't appear to be in disrepair. The coachman left my luggage outside the door, gave me an empty farewell, and then went on his way. I was entirely alone. I spent some time just staring out at the forest, but naturally there was nothing of interest to be found there. So I quietly turned around and opened the door to the mansion. It's surly dark. I could barely even see my own feet. Briefly, I considered trying to unshutter a window or two, but ended up deciding against it. The less inviting the place looked, the easier it would be for me to avoid contact with the outside world, as Didier had recommended. Standing in the darkness for several minutes, my eyes gradually grew accustomed to the lack of light. While it was hardly ideal, it was sufficient to take a look around the house. The inside didn't seem to have received the same level of care as the outside. Everything was dusty and the air was many years stale. But I wasn't in a cleaning mood, so I dug through my luggage for a bundle of candles, lighting one of a flint. A stained glass window? Examining the large room I found myself in, I came across a stained glass window depicting an angel. The archangel, after whom I had been named, looked solemnly down upon me. Quite the joke. 2 columns of evenly spaced pews ran the length of the room, all facing the multicolored window. I set the candlestick on a podium of some sort, which is when I realized this is a chapel. A flat length of silver, bent in the middle, was mounted in the pulpit's face. When I saw it, I knew exactly what it used to be. A cross. The pews weren't exactly the stained glass, but the cross. Why, though? I felt as though the mansion had been built up around the chapel rather than the opposite. I was perplexed as to why anyone would do that. But of course, there was no one around to sate my curiosity. Taking the candlestick back in hand, I made my way beyond the pulpit. There sat a small metal door. I pressed one hand against the cool surface and my heart leapt. It was abnormally cold. Though the door itself seemed perfectly normal, an unspeakable anxiety spread through me. It was a very unusual sensation. My instincts told me I should stay far, far away, and my heart told me it was my duty to see what lay beyond. What am I going to find back there? After a few moments' hesitation, I decided to act in opposition to my instincts. Well, it's the observation tower again. It's where the witch died. So is this where we meet the witch or something? I was looking at a long spiral staircase. The wooden stairs stretched so high I couldn't tell where they ended. An observation tower, perhaps. As if being pushed forward by some inhuman force, I mounted the staircase. By the third or fourth loop, soft light began peeking into the tower through regularly spaced rectangular openings in the stone walls. Through one such window I gazed outside, and far off in the distance, beyond the seemingly endless ocean of trees, I saw a small village. Nowhere I'm ever going to go. So many stairs. It had been quite some time since I exerted myself this much. I hardly had any opportunity to lock away my chambers. With every step I took, I could hear my joints creaking and my muscles screaming. I was long since out of breath, only staying upright with the help of the wall. This is pitiful, damn it. But turning back never occurred to me. I had to keep climbing, had to make it to the top. And it was that feeling of necessity that pushed my exhausted body upward. By the time I reached the top, I was practically gasping for air. Sweat streamed down my forehead. I wiped it aside, turning my gaze toward yet another door. But unlike the first, what on earth? A tangle of rope covered the surface. Layers upon layers of it, making its intent abundantly clear. Nothing shall come in or out. It didn't look like it had been put there recently either, as much of it was rotted through. Out of curiosity, I grabbed at the coil and yanked. The rope snapped in several places, chunks falling limply to the floor. That wasn't enough to allow the door to open, though. People only sealed doors like this for a reason, largely because they didn't want or couldn't allow others to see what hid behind them. Like what they did to me. For a few moments, I felt as though I was looking down at myself from outside my body. If it hadn't been this man, but someone else standing there, would they have turned back at the side of the sealed-off door, acting as though nothing was there? Or would they have done as I did? I ground my teeth, a mix of annoyance and bitterness rushing through me, but I did not hesitate. I held the flame of the candle up to the wall of the rope, careful not to set the whole thing ablaze, slowly, carefully burning through them one by one. It was repetitive and time-consuming, but I persisted, wiping away sheets of sweat before it streamed into my eyes. The sun was well on its way down before I finally managed to expose the door. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's funny, yeah, because, one of the biggest reasons why he's, opening this door, because it reminds him of his own predicament. So that's why he wants to open it, symbolically anyway. I took a deep breath, I looked up at it, and gulped. There was something indescribably chilling about the door, and then I pushed it open. A barely noticeable breeze brushed past me. A single ray of sunlight shone into the room, coming from a single window sitting high atop the wall. It cast a milky white patch of light onto the hard floor, revealing the fact that I was not alone. The rumors say a witch lives in this mansion. There I saw, in this cursed house, a skeleton with only one arm. Okay, it's Morgana's corpse. It's just there. Never gave a proper burial, I guess, because no one knew she was there in the first place. At least other than, the three guys, the three sinners. A cursed mansion for a cursed man. It was like I was destined to end up here. I had no way of finding out who the skeleton belonged to, so I left it there at the top of the tower and retreated into thought. Was it always there, I wonder? Because I remember that one time, they went to the observation tower. I don't know, it was always there. And then you didn't move it? I guess you wouldn't want to touch a skeleton, but eventually, it's going to keep staying there, I don't know. It's just a skeleton, literally a skeleton, up in the tower. I mean, I've heard of skeletons in your closet, but I didn't think it was literal. I wondered to myself, how had the one-armed person died? Well, I mean, we know now in the present time, but anyway, how had they felt locked in that room? Staring up in that sole window so far out of reach, well, the only thing they would have seen was the sky and the occasional bird. Had they yearned for more light, or had they come to despise the tiny patch of it that trickled into the room? Had there been some sort of wicked criminal imprisoned for wrongdoing? Not all prisoners are necessarily bad people. Having been branded with a non-existent curse, I couldn't help but think that perhaps something similar had happened to whoever they were. Vainly reaching out for the sun, constantly praying for rescue that would never come. What had gone through their mind as they withered away? Would anyone ever come for me? Would my brothers keep their word? Or would I years from now end up another pile of dry bones somewhere in this house? Unwanted and alone. Robbed of all hope, with no one but the darkness to talk to as it sunk its teeth deeper and deeper into me. That corpse could be me in the future. Lydia, Georges, did you really send me here to keep me hidden? Or is this to be my grave? Can I put my faith in you? Can I trust you when you say I'll be able to return? That everyone will happily accept me? That we'll all be together again? That we'll play chess, that we'll draw pictures, and nobody will be left out? All I really wanted was for people to accept me for who I was. To accept that I was a man. No, that I had grown to resemble a man. That I had a heart of a man. I didn't need anything else. I didn't want to cause anyone anguish. I didn't want to hate anyone. I simply wished to be who I was. No, who I wanted to be. And I didn't want to be treated like I was strange or different. If that was asking too much, then at the very least I wanted to have one person in my life who truly understood me. Lydia, Georges, I pray that you can be that for me. Lurking quietly in the mansion's all-encompassing darkness, I waited and hoped that a day might arrive when I could come out of hiding. However, 1, 2, 3 years later, I had still not been set free. Only my mother wrote me. In all her letters, she said the same thing. When your curse is broken, come back home, sweetheart. When your curse is broken, I want you back in my life. When your curse is broken, everything will be back to normal. I wait expectantly for the day you are free of that terrible curse. The curse would never be broken, though. What I was now was what I was meant to be. All that time I spent as a girl, none of that was real. Didier has said that he didn't think I was cursed. My brothers didn't think I was some hellish demon child. So no, the curse would never be broken because there was no curse to break. I wasn't cursed at all. There's no damn curse. But the flow of time eroded away at me, slowing killing any confidence I had once had, sucking me dry of all trust for others and myself. With enough time, I started questioning my own beliefs about what I was. Started thinking that perhaps I was cursed. Much like they had at the Belinker estate, the servant had come by every month, did his best to avoid making eye contact. But beyond just bringing me food, he was also checking in on me and making sure I didn't attempt to run away. And every month he probably went back and told Mother the same thing, that my curse had still not been broken. Do you have the answers I seek, O Father in heaven? If you do, I ask of you to guide me. So please tell me what I am. If I truly am cursed, and perhaps you could tell me how much my soul weighs too. Probably not very much. I spent enough time alone in that dark mansion to drive anyone mad. The more time that passed, the more I grew to question myself, my worth as a human being. And whenever the self-doubt and loathing became too much to take, I trekked up to the top of the observation tower to see the light. Sitting there on the hard floor, I would place my hand on the skeleton's leg, its shoulder in its hand. Okay, just touching the skeleton. I mean, if you're touching it at this part, you should probably give it a proper burial. I don't know. From the side was the bones. Whoever was appeared to have been still young when their life withered away. Poor child. Even I feel blessed compared to you. Oh, how miserable it must have been locked away up in this tower, to have your arm mercilessly severed. You have my pity, though. I alone shall mourn your death. I alone shall take comfort in your presence. You poor, poor child. By pretending to pity someone who had it worse than me, I was able to feel somewhat better about myself. That's just, that isn't that life. That's just life, isn't it? Sometimes you just have to feel like someone else has it worse than you to make it seem like you don't have it as bad as somebody else, so you don't, Just like give up, I guess. I don't know. Because if I was in a position to pity someone else, then conversely, I wasn't in the position to be pitied. Vainly, foolishly trying to convince myself for a lie, I spent hours, days alone in that tower, holding the dry bones in my arms. Now there was a sight to lend credence to my alleged madness. Over time there, the mansion seemed to thicken, as if the fog were condensing. Water pushed out all the air, swallowing me up, suffocating me. A putrid mire. I was trapped at the bottom of this thick black sludge. Soon I lost track of the passage of time, my only landmarks being the dates of Mother's letters. Before I knew it, 8 years had passed. Alright. So, again, before it was the story of Michelle's childhood, and now this is the story of the mansion. It's been 8 years though. I wonder, eventually, I guess he'll start hearing voices. You wonder, is it because he actually did go crazy? I think the game is like, in no uncertain terms, is saying that Morgana did exist, and she is a voice, but I wonder if there's gonna be like another twist. A lot of twists in this game. Maybe it really is another twist where Morgana did not exist this entire time, and it's just a figment of his, imagination as well still, and that somehow influenced him in the limbo world. I don't know, but I guess we'll see. So, apparently, Michelle found something and is like, he's surprised by it. I guess we'll see what that is.